All right. Well, good evening, everyone. So, if anyone was waiting for the earlier live stream, because I normally do it Sunday mornings, some of the neighbors' dogs got out, and we had to go help catch them and then find the owners. So that was a bit unexpected, and it took a bit longer than we had thought. So had to delay everything. So we're going to try an evening live stream. We're going to see how that does. Tonight we're actually wrapping up the Aquarium 101, if you will. So we're going to kind of tie it all together. And hopefully I get to make a fun aquascape. You guys can enjoy it or join along, do something that might be interesting for the both of us. But anyway, the plan is for tonight, I am going to be putting aquascaping a UNS 25C. The plan for a long time has been to set up this tank in 4 different sections that I would eventually call the 4 seasons. So tonight I am going to be doing winter. We'll see how it goes, but hopefully in the future you guys will get to see summer, fall, spring, all of those 4 seasons, and hopefully very similar, if not identical, tanks. But we'll cross that bridge when we fall off of it. Anyway, without much further ado, let me bring out the tank, get the lights on so you can see it a bit better, and then I'll kind of talk through what I'm going to be doing as we go through it. I'm not going to be filling the tank tonight because I am going to be moving it to its permanent location after this video is done, and then I'll fill it there. So you guys can look for that in the August fish room tour video at the end of the month. So, all right, let's get to it. Now, the first thing I want to mention is that I did pay for all of these with my own money. This is the first time I will be using a UNS tank, but the main idea is that I wanted to try a rimless tank, one that I haven't made myself. I have made one in the past with a 10-gallon that I kind of trimmed the edges off, and it looked really good. Maybe one day I'll make a video about that and can kind of go into further detail on very fancy kind of aquascaping tanks, if you will. So are a cyan multi-layer stone. So I really like the kind of, let's see if you can get, actually, let's just put it in the tank. The kind of gray, but very textured surface. It was going to be a sort of mountain vibe that I wanted. And then I have a good deal of white coarse sand that I purchased. So that is hopefully going to simulate some kind of snowfall or cloudy mountains to give it more of that winter vibe that I'm going for. To finally finish that off, what I am first going to be applying ground that I found. It used to be Lucky Schmucks. I think it's Wild Fish Tanks now. I apologize if that's not the name, but he was the one that I saw his video on this to put what is a UV tinting, I believe, for window screens. You can buy it on Amazon. It was like $10, but it kind of makes a very nice background look that you can do for very cheap on multiple tanks. So that's a very good background option if you have that ability. So we're going to try that today. We'll see how that goes. The first thing is to make sure that it is clean of all smudges. And then I'm going to try and peel this off with no fingernails because I don't know how that's going to happen. But I might need your assistance. So well, my girlfriend peels that off. The important thing is what you want to do is you're going to take a spray bottle and spray both the glass and then you're going to want to kind of like wipe out all of the bubbles with some flat edge. I don't know. But you can use this. A credit card works really well. I know that stick there, and then you can go ahead later and trim off all of the excess edges to make it a perfect crisp background. So I will probably do that later after the live stream's done. Now, while we're talking, the light I am going to be using for this tank is a Night Crew clip-on LED. Really cheap, probably $12 off of Amazon. They work okay for pretty easy lighting. I don't plan on planting this, so I don't have to worry about that. But so you got it? Okay, perfect. All right, now we're back in action. So gonna peel this off, and then the plan, hopefully, is going to be I spritz this one, as it says, spritz this, and then I'm supposed to apply it. We're going to see how this goes, everybody. Like so. And then we can kind of pee. Or you don't have to. I guess if you wanted kind of a little bit with some bubbles, that's perfectly fine too. I guess pick your flavor. Maybe you like the bubble background. Mess around with it a little bit. Why not? Anyway, what do you... Oh. Right here. I'm getting very hard instructions. But basically that's the concept, and then you kind of just let it dry, and then hopefully you have a nice background that you're happy with, and it's not a lot of bubbles. But I have enough rolls that I could probably do this on several more tanks. So I probably will end up doing this on several more because I really liked how easy it was and the nice background, the frosted background that looks pretty professional.
You can slice it and take off that edge.
Oh, okay. In fact, she says I can do this, and I can. Well, not very well apparently, but again, I'll save that for later. Minor technicalities. Let's get to the aquascape. So you guys may be doing something a little similar, different, but if you're watching this video and setting up an aquarium together, my plan may be a little more in depth, probably something closer to Aquarium's 201, where we will talk a bit more on aquascaping and rules like that. But I will be shooting, excuse me, my voice is going up. I will be shooting for an aquascape. You may want to go for something more simple. Again, I will not be planting anything, but I do have some videos that talk things like that. And there's plenty of other great resources that I have mentioned in the past that you can refer to previous videos to find out who those people are. And I will work on trying to get those names. I think I can put them on my channel or something. Not sure yet. Still trying to get plan on this. Is something similar to maybe a Japanese mountain during the winter. I've been looking at several photos that I really enjoyed, and I noticed that a kind of misty mountain theme is something that I could replicate but create a very enjoyable vibe nonetheless. Now, this light makes it a little bit hard to see the white sand, but I'm stacking it pretty high. Mainly, I want a nice hill so that in the end it creates what will look like a path, but you need that sense of depth to be able to create that. So I'm going to be shooting for that in this kind of steeper hill that I will further be adding more depth to in just a second when fish police come after me and tell me you can't do anything except maybe shrimp in this tank, and even that's probably wrong. But I think this will make a nice habitat for shrimp. I don't think there's enough coverage for a beta or any other anabantoid for that matter, so I'm going to try probably to omit them and just do a nice shrimp colony. The plan actually for now is some kind of white shrimp. I think I have some snowballs, but we'll see how it goes. I lost a bunch of them, so it may not work out, but you never know what the future holds. All right, so now I have a decent looking setup here, which so that it looks somewhat mountain-like. Kind of sand, and I hope I can put this all together in one video without it taking 6 hours. But we shall see. So So as you may notice, or may not, part of the plan is that I will be some space between each section, kind of creating layers to it. So that way, when it comes to later seasons, if you will, I will be able to plant things behind it without it destroying the aquascape. Oh, we have an unstable connection. Well, there is a thunderstorm out. There we go. Something like that. So now, as I mess around with this, I'm going to change in and out my plans to something that will hope of depth and height. No, not quite what I'm looking for. I almost wish that I could chop this piece. like it, but it's not really what I want. So we're going to keep going. Something like that. Might even end up taking two. Now that's not perfect, but now. Now, normally I'm used to dealing with a much larger tank than this, so this one's a bit tricky to deal with. But good idea. This is tricky to do from above. This is the perfect rock for it, but I just cannot get it to stick. Well, folks, I don't know about you, but I think this is the best I've got yet. I'm actually pretty pleased with the way this is turning out. Maybe scoop everything. Try and create a greater sense of depth. Now, another good option that you can use here is a paintbrush that can actually help create or gently move the sand around. It is another aquascaping tool you may want to consider down the road if you really find this enjoyable and fun. So anyway, as I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of trying to create a sense of depth using layers, if you will, different lines. Now, originally I was planning on doing 4, but after I saw this rock right here, I decided I really wanted to do 3. And I think that was actually a good decision because I think in this scape, 4 would have been just too much. I have too big of rocks. Now, I might have been able to squish it down. Oh boy. Looks like I'm getting sand behind my glass. But, you know, it's a learning experience for me as well, so that's okay. We'll kind of work with it, and if it doesn't work, I'll try it again. So the plan is to kind of arc these up a little bit. I'm going to be kind of moving the substrate underneath, try and heighten it up a bit more. Now this guy will have to come out, but I have all of the rocks. I know where I want them and how I'm going to place them. So basically just getting everything smoothed out. I'm going to be doing the path last because I really want it to kind of heighten with all of the rock choices that I have decided upon. And then I think I will be adding some sand on top of all of these rocks. The plan that way will, along with the shrimp that I plan on going with. I have it really heightened up in the back, but you really want that almost exaggerated feel when you're first looking at it, so that way when it's finally done, it really has that nice sense of depth. So the front, the sand can be very minimal, as you can see, but that's perfectly fine. More depth to this middle section here as well, because I do want the rock on this left side to look. So mine is going to kind of have two little mounds, one on the middle left and one on the far back right. Now you can't probably see that very well. Let me see if I can. Ooh, that's interesting. But that's not probably the best I can do, unfortunately, with a shorthand notice. But it kind of has two mounds, one on the middle left and then one in the back here, so that I can have the mountains kind of in a descending type path. Oh, yes, lights back on. So that'll actually even help it hold place so that I can add a few little accent stones maybe. I like that. That'll also even help hold up a bit more. There we go. Nice. All right. And then this middle stone, which I had placed about here. This on the other side. Can you see that difference? No, not too much. Maybe we'll kind of layer them. Yeah, there we go. I might mess around with those accent rocks, as time passes. But for the most part, I think this is about how it's going to look. I will be, moving some of this sand around to create more of that sense of depth. I think that might take a little bit more time for me to work with. But overall, I think this is a pretty good, simple, not too time consuming aquascape, and it creates a nice kind of cold vibe, as I mentioned earlier. For the top, this is a nice rock that I like for the winter vibe too, because it's got nice grooves that will hold that sand in place, so that you can even get that snowy effect of on the mountaintop. Toss them out so that they get inside those grooves there. Maybe, I don't know. But that'll about do it. So the original plan, finish it off with some type of what I believe will be a white shrimp. But we'll cross that bridge again when we fall off of it. Oh, As for the filtration, it'll probably end up being a sponge filter, but I have the sponge filter on hand right now. So what I will end up doing, actually you guys can enjoy seeing what it's going to look like when the rockwork's actually a little damp. Give me just a second. Actually, when you put it together, which I think is actually pretty nice, it'll hopefully bring out the extra like white sound. Not for the moment. So there you go. Snowy mountains. This will be winter. As for the filtration, but for now, I will show you. Again, I'm not filling it up, but this you could easily do, even though you'll still see it here. So ideally, your best, since I'm not a big canister filter guy and I don't want to spend another $50 on this one tank, since I have so many, I'm not too worried about it. Anyway, that is it for the Aquarium 101. I hope you all enjoyed this video, found it interesting. As always, a like if you enjoyed this type of content. If you're not already subscribed, you can always subscribe. I will be starting the fitness section as of next week. The first video next time, but I might be able to get something out earlier. I'm not sure yet. But I plan on running the aquarium or the fitness / nutrition routines, workout tips, ideas, and I hope to be putting out different muscle group exercises that you can be doing as well. Just to give you guys some different ideas on the gym or even at home, I will be doing my exercises with bands because, you know, this whole COVID situation is hitting us on bands or even in the gym. So hopefully I will be doing that on a regular basis for every muscle group, as well as a live stream where I will go over different fitness or exercise ideas and some different nutrition thoughts, ideas, and references, so that maybe a little bit healthier, or the whole COVID situation's got you sitting at home eating a bunch of ice cream and you need to lose, can help give you a few ideas, tips, tricks, etc. Unless you live down here in Florida where it never ends. So you could have that. But anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing for the next probably 8 to 10 weeks on live streams, and mostly in YouTube. I will be doing monthly videos, of course, because enough changes in the fish room. So you can always stay tuned for that if you're on the aquarium side. But maybe you want to delve into some fitness ideas too. I don't know. But I think that's about all I got. As always, if you enjoy this content or want to learn more about nutrition and fitness, notifications, I will hopefully be putting up Sunday live streams on a regular basis. My goal is around 9 or 10 o'clock every Sunday. This one was just an exception because I had to help the neighbors with their dogs. And if you have any comments, questions about aquariums, this video, anything like that, leave a comment down below. I'll be happy to get back to you and answer any of your questions. That's all I've got. I got to get ready for bed because I got work in the morning.